So I think Montreal's found some confidence, even though they come out 0-2. I think they do have some confidence going back home.
A series that we were really interested in going into the postseason is the Capitals and Canadiens. And a lot of it was because the Capitals were screwing around late in the series and the Canadiens were getting momentum, coming alive, adding Ivan Demidov. And thus far, we're 1 second away, I believe, from this being 2 1-goal games. That McMichael empty netter went in, I believe, just like in the final second. So 2 close games, 2 close wins for the Caps, 2 close losses for the Canadiens. A big story so far, I would say, is Logan Thompson. But I want to ask you about, from the Canadiens' perspective, they benched Patrick Laine in the third period of that game. If you are not playing Patrick Laine when you are down 1 goal and need a goal, what is the point of having Patrick Laine on your team?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. And again, unless you're in the room and you hear what's going on between the coach and the player, you don't know. I want Patrick Laine on the ice. I think he was a guy that was feeding Newhook through the first 40 minutes of this game. I thought that line actually looked pretty good through the first 40 minutes of the game. And Laine's still that threat on the power play, not so much as a shooter anymore, but as a puck distributor. And at least he pulls some traffic from the penalty killers. That surprised me. And I know. And I'll apologize if there's some media comments about why. Did the coach ever have to answer that? I don't know if St. Louis was asked that in the post game. But Laine, when we went back, and I worked that game last night, and we were looking for Laine on one of his last shifts of the second period. He did take 2 slashes in the hand on a power play, and he was shaking his hand going off the ice. I don't know if they're saying, gosh, I can't put any pressure on this. I don't know if there was injury related. I don't know. But you might protect that and not tell people he's got a bad hand. It's the playoffs. You don't say, yeah, Patrick Laine, his right hand's really killing him, because it'll be attacked for the rest of the series. So I don't know. But the answer is yes, you want Laine on the ice. The surprise for Montreal, to me, is you watch the first 20 minutes of game 1 and you go, oh, this isn't going to be close. Like, Washington's going to roll these guys. Like, Washington was fast. They were heavy, and they were all around the Montreal Canadiens. And then all of a sudden, as the game wore on, Montreal found their legs and they got a little more comfortable, and their small, skilled players became players. And Suzuki and Caulfield were phenomenal. Their chemistry is elite, watching 13 and 14 together. And then you started to believe that, gosh, they can get some offense. And honestly, the ice got tilted in game 1. Game 2 was even. Montreal came out in the first 10 minutes, and they were the better team for 10 minutes. This is a better series than people think. And I still think Washington's going to win the series, and I think Washington's got better depth, and Washington, I think, is the better team. But Montreal surprised me. They're a much better hockey team than I thought they were, and their ability to hey, we're not giving up. We're going to just keep coming. I think that's a testament to Martin St. Louis and how he coaches.
Can I ask you this? Like, I feel like so often in Montreal Canadiens games, they sort of relinquish control early in the games, and then they get stronger as it goes on. Is that like by design, or is it just a product of them adapting to games and maybe being like a little bit younger and having better legs and getting stronger as games go along?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. And again, I don't know everything about everything, but I don't know a coach that's going to say, "Hey, let's lay back here
Yeah.
for the first 20 in the playoffs." So I don't know that. I think it's really their youth. And you look up and down this lineup, how many young players they have in the lineup, and this is the first time on this stage for many of these players for the Montreal Canadiens playing in a playoff series. And we as hockey fans know it's different. Like, game 83 is different than game 82. And it's different. The speed, the strength, the crowd is different. The physicality is different. And I think it takes some time to adjust to that. And I think it took Montreal 35, 40 minutes to go, okay, they're all over us. We got to do things differently, and credit the coach on that, because you have to make adjustments. And I think Montreal, when you started, their defensemen were getting pounded. I mean, Laine Hudson was just getting absolutely Gooley too behind the on the forecheck behind the goal line. It was a tough night, so they started moving the puck quicker, and you started seeing them getting the puck around the boards, a little more hard rims, and evading some of that forecheck, and at least relieve the pressure. Even if they weren't able to get through the neutral zone, at least their defense weren't taking that physical hit time after time after time. So I think there were some adjustments by the coaching staff, and I also think that helped get their speed game going. And Montreal's got to play with speed. Montreal's got to play with pace, and they're going to have to put pressure on the Washington Capital defense to be able to defend. Because I think with Ferravari out of the lineup, I think that's a big deal. for the Washington Capitals having him out of the lineup. And so if I'm Montreal, and I know that they're down, but you go back to Montreal and you go, hey, we're okay. We're competitive in these games. We found offense in these games. We're a post away, a great save away, a defenseman block shot away from coming out of that Washington with a split. So I think Montreal's found some confidence, even though they come out 0-2. I think they do have some confidence going back home.
We all silly like the mayor.